When I was 7 years old, I traveled to Nigeria with my family for the first time. And everywhere we went, people were screaming at me, my brothers, and my mom, Anyacha! Anyacha. Anyacha, which means white person. In the 90s, it was pretty unusual to see a white person. So it was almost like when kids see Santa Claus and like scream and start chasing Santa Claus. Kids would chase our car like as we would drive through small towns and stuff like that. So even if I ignore the other 53 African countries and all the other dark-skinned countries of the planet, there are at least 200 million people who consider me to be a white person. I was having to explain and convince people that my dad was my dad. In the same way that in the US my whole life, I've had to explain and convince people that my mom is my mom. I realized that a society will identify you as whatever is different about you. In a white society, I'm identified by my blackness. And in a black society, I'm identified by my whiteness. It's also a matter of sheer practicality. Like in the US, a mixed person identifying fully as white isn't going to go over well because this country, having been so racist for so long, mixed people are just not as likely to be accepted in white circles as we are to be accepted in black circles. And so it makes sense why most of us identify as black in the United States. And I actually remember as a kid, growing up and being really confused when mixed people would say that they were black, but they wouldn't say that they were also white. I'm like, yeah, you are black, but like, what about like you're half Mexican too? Or you're, you know what I mean? Like we were all lumped together. And then in school, we learned about the racist one drop rule ideology. And it suddenly hit me that even though everyone knows that this rule is racist, everyone still follows it up till today, right up to your comment. The idea that any amount of black makes you fully black and takes away any of your whiteness just reinforces the conflation of whiteness and purity. That being said, I'm sensitive to the history of some people being like, no, fuck my white side, because that was non-consensual. Like this is from rape and trafficking, where I am not proud of the people who begot me on my white side. And so I disown them and I identify fully as black. I totally respect and support that, and I would probably do the same. But since my whiteness comes directly from my mother through a consensual circumstance, out of respect for her and all my white ancestors, I claim what I literally am. Luckily, it does not matter to me at all how Americans see me, how Nigerians see me, how random people on TikTok see me. Growing up as a very literal kid, I did the math and I was like 50% equals 50%. I am 50% of each. And so I've never claimed one more than the other. And even though I'm damn near 40, I still encounter moments that just baffle me. Like the other day, I was talking to another mixed guy and he was like, well, if you went to Europe, white people wouldn't claim you. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, why do I need their permission? I am white. Like science doesn't need them to agree with it. I know race is a construct, right? But if we're defining it by groupings of genetic ethnicities, then I am factually 50% European. It doesn't matter what the Europeans say about that. I've literally never had that thought. I don't care if they claim me or not. And I don't think anyone else should give a fuck if anyone claims them or not. If you're mixed and you claim whatever like DNA that you have, like fucking claim, who cares? If they are super racist against you or like being total dicks and you're like, fuck them, I don't claim them, cool. But if you want to claim them, but you feel like you don't have permission or something, that's bullshit. You are what the fuck you are. So when I first saw your comment, I was like, the fuck? But you probably have good intentions. You're just out of line. Like you tell people what you are. You don't tell them what they are. They tell you what they are. And like I said, I'm half black, half white.